Consider for a moment the safest place in your life. It might be your familiar daily routine, your stable but uninspiring job, the predictable nature of your relationships, or the set of beliefs you hold without question. It is a space characterized by low risk, minimal challenge, and a steady state of comfort. Now, I want you to consider a radical and unsettling idea. What if this safest place, this sanctuary you have so carefully constructed, is actually a prison? A beautiful, comfortable, and exquisitely decorated prison, but a prison nonetheless. A gilded cage. Welcome to Existential Psychology Insights. If you are someone who is willing to question the very foundations of a safe life in the pursuit of a good one, I invite you to subscribe and join our exploration. Today, we are examining one of the most powerful and deceptive traps of the human psyche, the comfort zone. We are biologically and psychologically wired to seek safety and predictability. Our ancient brain, designed for survival, sees the unknown as a potential threat. It tells us to stick to the familiar path, to conserve energy, to avoid the risk of the hunt if the stored food is sufficient. In the past, this was a brilliant survival strategy. In the modern world, however, this same instinct, when left unchecked, becomes the primary obstacle to our growth, our potential, and our very experience of a meaningful life. It secretly, slowly, and comfortably destroys our potential. The problem with the comfort zone is not that it is comfortable, it is that nothing of significance can grow there. A life lived entirely within the bounds of what is known and easy is a life of stagnation. Passion, creativity, resilience, wisdom, courage, these are not qualities that are cultivated in a state of perpetual ease. They are forged in the fires of challenge, in the uncertainty of the unknown, and in the courageous act of confronting our own limitations. To remain in the comfort zone is to choose a life of psychological and spiritual atrophy. The muscles of our character, left unused, begin to weaken. This leads to a quiet but pervasive form of suffering, existential boredom. When there is no challenge, no novelty, no sense of progress, life becomes a flat, gray, repetitive landscape. We may feel safe, but we also feel profoundly, achingly bored. This boredom is not trivial. It is a signal from our soul that our innate human need for growth and self-actualization is being starved. It is the quiet protest of a life being lived at a fraction of its capacity. So if the cage is so stifling, why do we stay? The door, for most of us, is not locked. We possess the freedom to leave at any moment. The bars are not made of iron, but of our own fears. The most significant of these is the fear of the unknown. The world outside our cage is wild, unpredictable, and offers no guarantees. Stepping out means risking failure. It means risking judgment. It means risking the discomfort of being a novice again. It means risking the possibility that we might not be as capable as we'd like to imagine. Faced with these risks, the predictable comfort of the cage, however limiting, can seem like the more rational choice. This creates a fundamental conflict within us, an internal battle that existential psychology seeks to illuminate, the battle between the secure self and the authentic self. The secure self is the part of us that craves safety, predictability, and the approval of others. It is the part that builds the cage and whispers justifications for staying inside. The authentic self, however, is the part of us that yearns for meaning, for purpose, for growth, for the full expression of our unique potential. It is the part that rattles the bars of the cage, that gazes longingly at the wild landscape outside, that feels the pain of stagnation. A life of chronic frustration and quiet desperation is often the result of this internal war where the secure self has been allowed to dominate and suppress the needs of the authentic self for too long. To break free, we must first accept a fundamental existential truth. The currency of growth is discomfort. There is no way to expand, to learn, to become stronger or wiser without willingly stepping into a state of temporary discomfort. The athlete must endure the burn of the muscles to build strength. The artist must endure the frustration of 1,000 bad drawings to achieve mastery. The seeker of wisdom must endure the discomfort of having their most cherished beliefs challenged. Anyone who sells you a vision of growth without discomfort is selling you an illusion. The price of admission to a larger, more meaningful life is the willingness to be a beginner, to feel awkward, to be uncertain, and to risk failure. Escaping the gilded cage is not about making a single, dramatic, reckless leap into the abyss. That is just another way of creating chaos. It is a gradual, intentional process of expanding your boundaries. It is about making the cage progressively larger until it dissolves entirely. This process begins with awareness. You must first recognize the invisible bars of your own cage. What are the routines, the habits, the relationships, the beliefs that keep you feeling safe but small? Identify them without judgment. Then you must take small, deliberate steps into the uncomfortable. Choose one small action that lies just outside the edge of your current comfort zone. If you fear social judgment, the goal isn't to give a speech to 1,000 people tomorrow, it's to make one comment in a meeting, or to strike up a brief conversation with a stranger. If you fear failure in a new skill, the goal isn't to become a master overnight, it's to practice for 15 minutes with the sole intention of learning, not of being perfect. Each time you willingly embrace a small moment of discomfort, you do two things. You prove to yourself that you can survive it, and you slightly expand the border of what feels comfortable. Your cage gets a little bigger. Over time, through the consistent accumulation of these small acts of courage, the things that once seemed terrifying become merely challenging, and then eventually they become part of your new, larger comfort zone. This is the path of authentic living. It is a conscious choice to prioritize meaning over ease, to choose growth over stagnation, to choose the intimidating freedom of the open landscape over the deceptive security of the gilded cage. It requires us to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, to see fear not as a stop sign, but as a compass pointing us directly toward the area where our greatest potential for growth lies. The door to your prison is open. The only question that remains is whether you will find the courage to walk through it.